Hello, my health freedom loving friends. Misty Carlfeld here with Health Freedom Idaho, and I'm here with Cathy Cooke with Idahoans for Safe Technology. Idahoans for Safe Technology is a partner group, and we're working together on all levels of health freedom right now. So I really appreciate you coming today, Cathy. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, thank you.
So I know there's a lot of people that still don't know. What is wrong with 5G? What are the main concerns?
So the main concerns with 5G is there's multiple concerns. One are property values, our health impacts, tree canopy that needs to be cut down. And the reason for all of these is because our fifth generation of technology deals with millimeter waves. So right now we use our cell phones and we talk to these big cell towers out in the distance. And these are microwaves. It's the fourth generation of technology. And we make our phone calls, our radio frequency goes to those big cell towers over there, and that's how we communicate. So with 5G, the fifth generation of technology, they're going up the spectrum, the EMF spectrum, to use millimeter waves. So the deal with millimeter waves is that they travel a much shorter distance than the microwaves do. Since they travel a much shorter distance, we have to have small cell antennas very near our homes in order to make that connection with our devices. So we're going to have potentially a small cell antenna, one on every block potentially, so that it can reach all of our homes and power our devices. So of course, the closer your home is to a small cell antenna or to a cell tower, your property value declines. We've got massive health implications because you've got significantly higher radio frequency exposure to your house and your family. Some of these millimeter waves are blocked easily by trees and homes. So trees are threatened. They may be cut down in order to actually reach your devices. So there's multiple reasons why 5G is a concern for us.
And then you were saying even that one antenna they don't share?
Right. So we believe at this time that the telecom companies will not be sharing an antenna. So if Verizon wants to have a small cell antenna on your street, well, so does T-Mobile and so does AT&T. So we could have multiple of these small cell antennas on the block, on each block.
Wow.
Yeah.
All of them putting out that radiation.
Right.
And how can that radiation affect people or animals or bees?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, Dr. Martin Paul, who is a professor emeritus of Washington State University, he's a PhD in biochemistry, I believe. He's done a significant amount of work on this topic. And what we know now is how these EMFs, these electromagnetic fields, this radio frequency affects us on a cellular level. It can get a little bit complicated, but it's basically working on our voltage-gated calcium channels. And I encourage all of you to look this up if you want to get a little bit deeper into the science. But it's essentially all of our cells have calcium around the cell, and we shouldn't have too much calcium inside the cell. When we're exposed to these radio frequencies, the voltage gates are opened, and we get an influx of calcium into the cell, and that causes long-term oxidative stress.
Wow.
Yeah, and so what does oxidative stress mean? I mean, that's going to manifest as different symptoms and different health problems for different people. But you name the health problem, and oxidative stress is usually
For
behind.
sure, absolutely. Yep, every time. So what have been some instances, I've heard different stories of how it's affected maybe the firemen or being around schools. What are some impacts that we've already seen?
Oh, wow. Well, when I work with clients, the health symptoms that they report to me, tinnitus is big, or tinnitus, ringing in the ears.
Yeah.
Insomnia is really big, anxiety, depression, headaches, muscle weakness, fatigue, unfortunately, cancer. Some of these, I'm listing symptoms. Cancer is actually, that's not a symptom, it's a disease, but it's very difficult to say with 100% certainty that my cancer was caused by my EMF exposure.
Sure.
Because we don't have enough research and data yet. I have no doubt in my mind that it's an influence for sure. Mm-hmm. But to say, with 100% accuracy, EMF causes this illness, we can't quite get there yet, because what else are we exposed to? You know, all of these toxic exposures in our daily lives. So they're all playing
it's a toxic soup. Yeah,
but I can say with absolute accuracy with myself and with my clients who are dealing with the symptoms, it's 100% correlation. So.
And what happened with the firemen? Can you remind us of that story?
Yeah, I believe that was in California. So for many years, fire towers would sell in a lot of antennas on their property.
Oh, on the firehouses themselves?
On the firehouses themselves. Because usually, a lot of times they'll have a big training center in the back, and it's tall.
Okay.
And there's a lot of equipment that the personnel need to communicate with. So a lot of wireless technology.
Oh, sure.
And so there have been some studies done. I believe there's been some pretty significant MRIs and other, I don't know, don't quote me on that, I have to look that up a little bit more, but they did a significant amount of research on the firefighters because they were getting so many symptoms, so many health symptoms, and they were coming back conclusively with this severe oxidative stress, and when they removed the radio frequency equipment, their symptoms subsided.
Wow.
So it was, it's pretty significant.
And they're no longer putting these towers on firehouses anymore, right?
Well, I don't know if that's state by state.
Okay.
So the National Association of Firefighters, or I'm not sure the exact terminology there, they are promoting a certain distance away from the firehouses for these antennas to be. So I think in California they are not. I don't know that that's happening in every state, but you know, that's a pretty big precedence that, hey, we don't want this radio frequency near our personnel because it's causing health problems.
Right.
So why is that okay for the firefighters, but not the rest of us?
Right. Or children. I've seen these towers
schools
near the schools.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, it breaks my heart. Okay, so now that we know the dangers and some of the evidence that's happening, and so what do you recommend? Have you seen those shirts that people can wear to protect their organs?
Yep.
What do you think about those kind of things?
So those can be helpful, and what I find is that different people react differently to these. So some people will wear the shielded clothing and it helps them tremendously. Other people will wear the clothing and actually they feel worse.
Oh.
We're not entirely sure what's going on and why some people feel better, some people don't. But some of the clothing can act like a bit of a conduit. So say you're around a lot of electric fields, like, you know, I am always recommending that people sleep with their breakers off at night, at least to their bedroom, because we've got a really big electric field coming out of those wires in our walls. So if you're, for example, wearing some of this clothing with the metals woven through, it's possible that some of that electric field can kind of couple onto the clothing and make you feel worse. So it's really person by person. If it makes you feel better, awesome, go for it. But just be aware that it's not kind of a cure-all for everybody.
Oh, shoot. Darn it. That wasn't the answer I wanted.
Well, I mean, it's just kind of a trial and error thing. Everybody can find something to improve symptoms. There's many things. There's all kinds of different supplements. There's remediation to reduce your exposure. You know, there's the clothing, there's canopies, there's paint. There is an answer for you. Sometimes it just takes working with somebody to know how to guide you in that, or just trial and error.
What kind of supplements are you seeing to be helpful?
Again, it's going to be person dependent, but we find that antioxidants, of course, are going to be helpful. So rosemary tincture is a big one. I recommend that to people, especially when they're doing things like flying, or they're going to a conference and they're just going to be bombarded with a lot of this technology. Rosemary tincture is great. Dr. Klinghardt actually developed a specific formula that's got rosemary, propolis, and coriander. It's called Ray Wave. So he developed that specifically for EMF exposure. That's a great one.
I travel a lot.
Do you? Yeah.
So I need something.
So the Ray Wave would be excellent for you, or the rosemary tincture. Magnesium is a calcium channel blocker.
Okay.
So magnesium is extremely effective. We should all be taking magnesium every day. Ironically, people who take calcium channel blockers have noticed a reduction in their symptoms. Of course, there's side effects with those, so we don't all want to be rushing out getting calcium channel blockers. But for those of us, you know, those people that do take them, there is a reduction in their symptoms, which is really interesting.
Awesome. Okay. So, and when you say like remediation in our home, what does that mean? What is a
So
example?
The way that I approach remediation is to reduce the frequencies, to eliminate the fields that we're exposed to. So I help people hardwire their computers. I like people to not use some of the smart technology like smart speakers, smart appliances. You know, I mean, we've been living for all of human existence without them. I think, you know, we can do it. We can do it. Yeah. And
history has proven we can do it.
Right.
We will survive.
Yes. Actually, I was teaching a babysitting class. I teach classes for St. Luke's on the weekends. And last weekend, I had a student who had a burn on her arm. And I posted this picture on my Facebook page. Did you see it? And I asked her immediately, I said, do you wear a Fitbit? And she's like, yeah.
Because it's in the shape of a Fitbit, you can see it.
Yeah. And she said, well, it doesn't hurt or anything. It doesn't itch. It doesn't hurt. So, yeah. But so she said, so I think it's just maybe an allergic reaction from the device. And I said, well, if it was an allergic reaction, it would be itchy and it would hurt a little bit. So, you know,
it's a reaction.
Yeah, yeah. So, and I've seen that. I've seen a lot of people with that, and you know, so I was encouraging her not to wear it. So, this kind, you know, the earbuds, the wireless earbuds, you know, it's sending communication to they're communicating with each other through your brain. Not smart. The Bluetooth that people wear around their neck, really not great for your thyroid. Oof. Or your brain, or your, you know, your nervous system in general. So eliminating these devices, and then, you know, when I'm testing, I'm helping people to identify what breakers are impacting them, and we can turn those off at night. Searching for magnetic fields and fixing any wiring errors that are happening, filtering out dirty electricity, and then, you know, there's a lot of tools we can do. I know not everybody's going to get rid of their Wi-Fi and hardwire, though that would be the best approach, but there are other things you can do. Turning it off when you're not using it. Turning off your printers. I'm finding that people are completely oblivious to their printer, but they only print maybe once or twice a week. So just turn it off when you're not using it. You can turn it on when you need to print, and then keep it disabled. It's one of the biggest exposures that I find. Really high frequencies.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that brings me to, how can people be effective on each level? So like we were just in Washington, D.C., and we were talking on the federal level that we want our ability back to be able to present health effects in these hearings. Like even in a county level, we can't talk about the health effects. So that was our big ask in Washington, D.C., and I was surprised at nobody that we spoke to knew about this issue. They didn't know that they considered the science settled way before we even had this technology. And so Congressman Fulcher was amazing. He knew a lot about the Huawei connection, the China connection, and that was a big concern to him. But he did not know about the health effects. And he did not know that we couldn't present health effects. So, Senator Risch's office, kind of the same thing. So they're going to be in contact with Cathy. I got her some information so that she can educate them on a federal level. But what else can we be doing, whether it's a state, city, county, what can we be doing?
Well, first of all, I want to thank you and Sarah and Chelsea for your work. You guys deserve a trophy or a medal or a gluten-free cookie. I mean, how much time and effort you put into this for fighting for us, right? Fighting for all of Idahoans.
Thank you.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
So, yeah.
Well, and you gave us the handouts, which I really appreciated because it gave us great talking points. So this is really working together to protect our state. That's what we should be doing. Is all using our gifts, our abilities, our passions to work together to make a significant change for our state. So thank you, because I hear you are getting around. Everybody I talk to, they're like, do you know Cathy Cooke? And I'm like, yes, I know Cathy Cooke.
Well, you know, I don't want any of us to have to suffer.
No.
This is ridiculous.
No.
So there's a lot we can do. First of all, we need to make our voices heard.
Yeah.
We need to be calling the Ada County commissioners, or you know, whatever county you're in. We need to be calling our commissioners. We need to be calling our mayors. We need to be calling our city council members, our governors, our senators. We need to make our voices heard so that they know that we have a concern. And we've been doing that. You know, in Idahoans for Safe Technology, we've had several letter writing campaigns and phone call campaigns and email campaigns. So they know. We are on their radar. They know that we have a concern about this. The other thing I would encourage everyone to do is go to your neighborhood association meetings. If you haven't done this yet, these are, you know, our neighborhood is impacted by this. So I've been to several neighborhood Association meetings throughout the Boise area over the past couple months. And usually no one shows up. It's usually the board, and they're discussing, and they want input. They want to hear what we have to say. They want to know what impacts their neighborhoods, and most of them have no idea. They have no idea it's coming. They've never even heard of 5G. So we need to educate them. So I really encourage you to go to your neighborhood association meeting and let them know this is what's going on. And, you know, if anybody wants resources for this, please email me. I've got mounds of resources that I could give to you, and you could just go to your meeting and hand them a document so that we'll give them all of the information. Another thing we can do, actually this Thursday evening, Verizon is holding a community workshop at Jump in downtown Boise to illustrate the benefits of the increase in the new technology that they're rolling out. They didn't say 5G, they just said new technology. I'm assuming this is referring to 5G and maybe some other things they have in the works. So this is going to be from 5:30 to 7:30 at Jump. We all need to show up and say that we have our concerns, and we need to educate other people that are in the audience that don't know anything about the concerns that we have. So the more people that we can get there, the better, so that we show them we are a community of concerned people. It's not just one or two of us, it's many of us that have this concern.
Yeah. And one of the things I've noticed about Verizon, let me know if you've noticed this or not, is that when the people try to do something, Verizon doubles down. And then the people try to do something again, and then Verizon doubles down. And it kind of infuriates me because they know that we're getting busy. They know that we're talking. They know that we're having an effect. So in my humble opinion, they're having this to promote their propaganda. They're going to tell everybody in that room how great it is, how much faster speed they're going to have, connectivity will be better, and think of all the new things, technology that they can create that will help find cancer. So you mean the cancer that they're going to be creating, they're going to be making money on the other end and helping you to find the cancer that they're creating, right? But that's not going to be their talking point. Their talking points are going to be all rainbows and sunshine with none of the risks.
Absolutely.
So you might ask yourself, like, well, why would I go to that meeting? Well, that's why. Because you need to go. You're not going to educate Verizon. They know. But you're going to educate the people in the room that are there listening to the nirvana of 5G technology and all that it can do for you. The people that know the truth need to fill that room and start the discussion so that the other people in that room go, wait a minute, there's risks?
Yeah.
Wait a minute, all my beautiful downtown trees are at risk of being cut down so that I can have faster connectivity. I don't think I'm willing to lose that beautiful, all the beautiful trees, and how they change colors. They're so gorgeous.
Right.
And are you really willing to risk all of that for a little bit faster connectivity? But they don't know that. They don't know that. So that's why we have to go. We have to go and have these discussions. And if we're not brave, we're not going to stop it. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be you're going to be nervous, but I think we can all be uncomfortable and nervous if it means literally saving our lives, saving our health, and saving our children. I think it's worth being a little bit uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Yeah, we're going to be a lot more uncomfortable with a 5G cell antenna outside of our windows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Physically very uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So, okay, so those are the things that we can do. Okay, so you told me some good news.
Yes.
A couple different things.
Yes.
And maybe we need some good news in these days, I think. I was like, wow, I never hear good news anymore. And I never get to be the bearer of good news, so I'm pretty excited about that.
Yeah, so I reached out to the North End Neighborhood Association in Boise and had a fantastic meeting yesterday with the president of the North End Neighborhood Association. And he is concerned. He's concerned about the issues that I brought up, the issues that we've been talking about here. And so he has been able to secure meetings with ACHD, so the Ada County Highway Department, which is where you see all of the small cell antennas now. They're all on the traffic post because that's Verizon has a contract with ACHD. He was able to secure meetings with the city and some other folks. I'm still waiting for his summary of all of the meetings that he had. But he was able to express our concerns about this and get some more information about what's going on, when the rollout, the accelerated rollout is coming, And we are now on their radars. The county knows that we have an issue with this. The city knows it. The highway department knows it. They know that we have a concern. And now the North End Neighborhood Association has some influence because they now have a seat at the table. When more of the cell antennas are starting to roll out or they're coming into neighborhoods, they now have a seat at the table. They now have a voice to say, wait a second, we've got some concerns about what's going on here, which is big because we didn't really have a voice until now. And what happens in the North End, other neighborhoods follow. So I'm very, very, very grateful to Mark Baltus. I don't think I'm saying that correctly. President of the North End Association for helping us with this and getting behind this. It's amazing. I'm just so grateful. And that's why, we can make an impact. So going to your neighborhood association meeting is an excellent step because I was just throwing it out there. I got to keep doing this, and this one's stuck, and it's fantastic.
That is awesome news. That is really great news. Okay, and then what was the other one?
So the other one is there was a federal court in Washington, D.C. recently that overruled the telecom's ability to not have an environmental review of all of their small cell antennas. So previously, the telecom industry companies were given permission to install these 5 cell antennas without an environmental review. So there was
that is insane.
Absolutely. There's a federal court that said, no, you are still by law. You have the responsibility to make sure that every single antenna meets these requirements, and they all have to go through an environmental review. So that means that before any more antennas are put into place, that they have to go through this very expensive, sometimes lengthy process to make sure that there is no environmental impact.
Great.
Absolutely.
That is awesome.
They're probably, the industry's probably going to take this to the next higher court.
Oh yeah, because they're going to double down.
Absolutely. So we don't know where this is going to go. But thank God a court is saying, whoa, hold on, you can't do anything you want. There's actually some rules here that you are subject to.
Right. And speaking of the environment, I wanted to make sure and ask what you are seeing about the bees with the impact, or even the wildlife.
Right. So there's definitely some research out there indicating that bee population is declining, potentially due to the increased radiation exposure. And it's interesting that a lot of people who work around some of these cell towers or some of the antennas will just straight up say, they're like, oh yeah, when a bee gets close to this, they often die and they fall to the ground. I haven't seen that in person. That's just what I have heard. So I can't be 100%, conclusive behind what's going on there. But yeah, that's a pretty common knowledge that they say, oh yeah, they just die when they get closer to the
just die. Just the bees. Just,
so
the reason we're alive.
Right. We can't live without bees. We can't live without pollinators. There's also some pretty significant research around the migratory patterns of birds and how they're being altered. So there's what seemingly is happening. There's a little bit of confusion with the birds when they're trying to, go south for the winter or whatever it is, because of the increase of these frequencies in the atmosphere, because that interrupts their ability to communicate. So it's crazy.
That's not okay.
I know.
Okay, so we know what we can do. We have an event. We'll create an event for that Thursday Verizon meeting. And let's see, meeting with their HOA. That's huge. Legislators, county commissioner. I think, is there anything else you want to add?
And if you want to set up meetings, I encourage you to contact, if you're not in Ada County, contact your county, contact your city council members, your mayor. And, if you want information on how to do this, just shoot me a message. I'd be happy to get you all the information.
And is there a website with information?
So the Idahoans for Safe Technology has our own website. We are in the process of updating that. But if you want some other tools, you can go to the Environmental Health Trust and Physicians for Safe Technology. Those are both amazing resources for all of the science and action steps you can take to get you all the information.
And is there a website with information?
So the Idahoans for Safe Technology has our own website. We are in the process of updating that. You can go to the Environmental Health Trust and Physicians for Safe Technology. Those are both amazing resources for all of the science and action steps you can take.
Okay. So we just have to all use our resources to the best of our abilities to really make a change. So please do follow the page, Idahoans for Safe Technology. It's an amazing page, lots of good information. And then when you're in the group, it's a great place to have a discussion. I see a lot of really good discussions in there.
Absolutely.
So it's a great way to learn. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining this and listening to this very important information. It's vital, really. I hope you all have a fantastic day. Bye.
Bye, everyone.